When you think of MrBeast, you see the most popular YouTuber, someone who's donated millions to food shelters, someone who turned down $1 billion deal, someone who gives money away for fun. But what if I told you there's a darker secret to his success? What's Jimmy hiding, and is he a narcissist? From playing Minecraft videos,
you must flip every switch and kill all the monsters that come out,
to giving away a private island.
I bought this ginormous private island and I'm giving it to one of you in this video.
Jimmy Donaldson's story is like no other. He truly started from ground zero and made his way to the top, amassing over 1 billion views in 1 month, a feat that no one thought possible. But on his way to the top, he left clues. Clues he doesn't want us to know, or perhaps clues that he isn't proud of. But before we get to that, we start in 2012. While normal 13-year-olds were obsessing over girls, Jimmy was obsessing over YouTube. He didn't know it yet, but this would change his life forever. Jimmy's early content would be a series of Let's Play Minecraft episodes, which were popular at the time, but he could never compete with the OGs. He could never compete with Ethos Lab. And so on March 10, 2013, Jimmy would upload his last Minecraft video. For now. He switched to Pokemon, back to Minecraft, Call of Duty, and after uploading daily...
Over the past year, I've gained over 700 subscribers and gained almost 80,000 video views.
Jimmy kept uploading gaming content and making the same mistakes, until he tried something different.
I am going to be talking about how much money I have made off of YouTube.
We're going to be talking about how much Sky Does Minecraft makes off of ads on YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about how much Element Animation makes off of YouTube.
Now, even though this didn't get a lot of traction, this did start fueling his creativity, and shortly afterwards, he hit his first milestone.
Look at it. Isn't it beautiful? Quadruple digits.
I feel like my YouTube channel has so much potential. I've gotten hundreds of thousands of views. I've made over $5,000 in money off of this channel. I feel like this channel could grow, like money aside, just I could become famous. 10 years from now, I will be famous on YouTube, and you're gonna think to yourself, I remember watching this guy back before he had 3,000 subscribers. Man, did this guy's content suck back then.
That was back in 2015. MrBeast has been on YouTube for over a decade. He's put in his 10,000 hours of practice, and there's no denying he's a master of his craft. However, that doesn't change the fact that Jimmy is a narcissist. When you think of a narcissist, you might think of your toxic ex who used to gaslight you into thinking you were always wrong, your manipulative family member who used fear to control you, your fake friend who only called when they needed something. But what about Jimmy? The definition of narcissism is someone whose personality qualities include thinking very highly of oneself, needing admiration, believing others are inferior, and lacking empathy for others. All things that Jimmy Donaldson has.
I want them happy. This is a weird thing. I want them happy. People are happy.
I don't know if they're happy.
Jimmy Watson's customer is happy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this isn't the first time that all he cares about is admiration or approval. When he was on Keith Lee's show, Jimmy kept trying to pump his own rating of his Feastables chocolate.
Again, it's too sweet. Let me try this. Maybe these are defective. Oh my god, this tastes good to me. I rate this a 10 out of 10. I give this an 11 out of 10.
7.2 out of 10.
This is amazing.
He couldn't accept the fact that someone says his chocolate isn't as good as he thinks it is. Of course, Jimmy is going to be biased, and I don't blame him, but it seemed he was hard selling Keith on how good his chocolate is. He had Keith try bar after bar until he finally approved it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
We're still figuring it out.
That's a good start. It's a good starting spot, though.
Alright, you know what? Let's try it up. Here, I got it. Here.
That's not even the worst part, because during the whole interaction, Jimmy didn't seem to respect Keith's opinion or his place. He threw chocolate bar after chocolate bar like he owned the place, and if it's his own studio, then that's fine, but when you're at someone else's place, the least you can do is show some respect. On September 4th, MrBeast Burger launched at the American Dream Mall. The place was flooded with over 10,000 fans. It would be an understatement to say that it was overwhelming, and I can only imagine the emotions Jimmy must have experienced at that moment. To top it all off, Colin and Samir were filming the whole chaotic event, and we got to see behind the scenes of MrBeast, behind the scenes of Jimmy, to see what he's really like.
I would put text that says, push for ice. We're making this restaurant idiot-proof.
He felt like a completely different person, and I don't blame him. He must have been under so much stress, but nonetheless, he snapped, started yelling, and got angry because of his fans. The people that loved him unconditionally were suddenly the last people he wanted to see. Jimmy started yelling, cursing, and trying to make the restaurant idiot-proof, which is basically calling out his fans as being too dumb to be able to operate something so basic as a soda machine.
Just double the money. I promise the video will go viral. and I'll give it to homeless person. I was like, $10,000 just looks better in a title. It'll get more views. I promise your app will do better. I'm just focused on making the best videos possible, period. I don't care about making money. I don't care about time. I don't care about anything. I just want to make the best videos on the planet.
I think we can all agree that Jimmy is a YouTube genius, expert, and put in his 10,000 hours of practice. Because of it, he knows exactly what makes a video go viral, and he does it every single time. Jimmy found his format, and it just so happens to be one that positively impacts people, giving money away. But imagine if he found another format that worked. What if pranks worked? What if trolling worked? Is it not fair to assume that's what he would have done? He said it himself, he's focused on making the best videos possible and doesn't care about anything else. Not the money, nothing, just the outcome. The question arises, does Jimmy truly like helping people for the sake of helping, or because it's what gets views?
I'm grateful for the opportunity, but the food sucked, you know? So they would give us our little meals and it would just be like mass amounts of oatmeal and then like a block of tofu. A lot of processed meals and hoping for the best for our tummies. Mine was not okay. They also gave us like a very, very thin little sheet to cover ourselves with in the night, so I was just like covering myself with like towels to keep myself warm.
Nearly all of MrBeast's videos are a challenge of some sort with contestants, and it's fair to assume that the process should be efficient, organized, and humanizing. But that's not always the case. It's hard to imagine so many people, especially when you're outnumbered by so many, but providing the bare necessities should be the minimum to make the contestants happy. And based on Nicole's experience, she wasn't very happy. Although she was very grateful for the opportunity to compete in one of MrBeast's videos, it wasn't as accommodating as she thought. Prior to the Stay in the Circle challenge, the food wasn't the best. She had to survive on processed items, slept in a cold place, and only had a thin blanket. And if this is her experience, then I can only imagine what other contestants felt like but didn't want to speak up. During the competition, everyone's always going to feel uncomfortable considering they're all competing. But when they're not competing is where the line should be drawn. If this is how Jimmy acts, I wonder how he would handle these bad reviews. Despite Jimmy showing these characteristics, one could argue that it was necessary to get to where he is, necessary to get to the top. So the question remains, is narcissism a good or bad thing?
Narcissism is a recipe for success.
Whenever you take medication, there's always going to be a downside. There's always going to be side effects. But that doesn't mean the medication is bad. If it has one undesirable outcome but you feel significantly better, would you stop taking the medication? No. There's no arguing how much Jimmy has accomplished in his personal life and how much effect he's had on others. Besides being the most talked about YouTuber, the most widely known YouTuber, he's also done a lot to give back. He's helped plant 20 million trees, helped clean 30,000 pounds of trash from the ocean, and those are big scale things. But what about on the individual level? In each one of Jimmy's videos, there's always somebody positively impacted, from giving a man $500,000 after staying in a circle, to treating 1,000 blind people with LASIK so they can see again. No matter what he does, there's always going to be people demonizing him. But that's the side effect of success. Just like narcissism is the side effect of ambition. Narcissism is neither good nor bad, but necessary for success. It's highly dependent on the person who carries that trait. When you think of a narcissist, you might think of somebody with bad intentions, but some of our greatest minds in society were narcissistic. And based on Jimmy's actions, I think we can all agree that he's a positive impact on the world. But what do you think?